Hello. Hello, everybody. We will get started in just a couple of minutes. Meanwhile, you are listening on the stream, that is, you are listening to the sounds of Pipe Dream Hits. Using music from Pipe Dream Hits all through the month of August. It's music by streamers for streamers. You can find their music on all of the major platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, anywhere you get your streaming music. And you will not get a copyright hit on your videos or streams with Pipe Dreams. So check them out, pipedreamhits.com. Players, how's everybody doing this evening?
Good, and you?
Not too bad.
Doing okay.
I had a busy day today.
Did your teams win? I know you had a couple of games in the last couple of weeks.
Yes, for the most part they did. On the 14th, we had a draw at home. And then the team subsequently went out and won on the road, but then they lost on the road. And then the last week, the other team won at home in a rainstorm.
Yikes.
So that was, I say a rainstorm. They delayed the kickoff by 45 minutes due to lightning, but it's like soccer is like football. A little rain is not going to stop anybody from playing. So they played in the rain. We wound up winning that game, and then last night they had another game at home, and that wound up being a 0-0 draw, but it was an exciting game nonetheless. It was one of those where it's like they were always just about to score, and then somebody made a really good defensive play on both teams to stop it. So
those games are always great. I cheer for the losing team because the games with the most turnovers, where there's it's a really close game, are always the better ones.
Yeah. So we It was fun. A fun time was had by all.
Do you ever use the teams or the players or the locations, mascots, etc., as inspiration for like NPC names and everything in non-module games that you make up yourself?
Not really. A long time ago, before I found some of the really good tools that I have discovered for creating NPC names, I did bookmark several websites that were keyed to different sports. And so I had something like where I said, human names would come from a site that listed Major League Baseball players. And so it's like if I needed a name, I would just go in and I'd either choose a first name or a last name, and that would be the NPC human. And then if I needed like an elf, I would go to an NBA site and I would pick a name from somebody from an NBA team. And then there was hockey, there was football, there was a site for soccer, and each one of them was for different races. And so
that gives fantasy football a new meaning.
Yeah, so it's like that would be just my go-to. But then I found this really great site that actually is a collection of name generators for all kinds of different fantasy races from all kinds of different IPs, including D&D and a bunch of other IPs. So literally, if you need an orc, an elf, a goblin, a gnome, whatever you need, you can go there and you can find it in pretty short order. So it's much easier just to have one place to go and click on and get those names. So before I knew about that, I did have a system I was working on, but then it's like, okay, no, that's too much work. That's too many sites to open at one time. I can just go and open this one site and have it. So all right. Well, let me verify. I think I have the music turned down now. Yes, I do. All right. By the clock on the system tray, it looks like we're a couple of minutes past 7:30. That must mean I am DM Galabond, and I am joined on the Discord and in the Roll20 by the players. And it is time for Greyhawk Saturday Night after a little bit of a layoff due to inconvenient interruptions by real life and sports of all things. We are back for session 12 of Greyhawk Saturday Nights. And last time we saw these intrepid heroes, they were still in the basement of the Moat House. They had rescued some prisoners from the ogre, dealt with the ogre. The priest that came with them from the temple in town had blessed the crypt areas, and they had dealt with all of the undead, the zombies, and the ghouls that they found down there. They had raided and looted all of Lareth's belongings, so they have that stuff, and there's one more place they have to check out, and that one more place is the well. And they have been told by many people that there is a monster in the well. And I believe Nico had volunteered to be bait. Basically, they were going to tie a rope around Nico's waist, and he was going to get in his heavy armor and sort of dangle himself there in the water and see if any sort of
outside of the water.
Oh, outside of the water.
I wasn't gonna jump into the water with a field plate on.
Like,
you're not.
You got to make some waves.
I will throw some things. I will throw some things into the water, but I prefer not to be a worm on a hook. I was thinking more of live bait running around with a string tied around me, so you could try to hold me off out of the water if something grabbed me.
How is that not a worm on a hook?
I'm not in the water yet.
Okay.
Yeah, you're the carrot.
He loves taking a bath, but he does not want to take this bath.
You're the carrot on the string.
Something like that, apparently. Yes, and you all have realized when you get down here and you look up, you realize there is a shaft that comes down here from the surface, and apparently this is right under where the well is located in the courtyard of the ground level of the old Moat House. So this all appears to be part of a system here. So since you guys had kind of gotten just to the point where you were ready to start trying to see what this monster might be, I'm going to let you all tell me what you do after I describe what you see in this area. Towards the back or northeast, which looking on your map would be the top left, the northeast corner of the pool, there you can see some glinting of coins and what looks like a weapon of some kind over in the shadows. Now, you can't quite tell exactly what all of it is because there are some humanoid bones that are scattered around the ledge of this pool. And Nico, as you approach, we're going to say that you have the rope already tied around you.
When you're prepared, when I'm about to walk out, I have 1 or 2 spells I wanted to have active prior to rolling initiative.
And then who is actually holding on to the other end of the rope?
Grappling hook.
No. Who is holding on to it? So there's a grappling hook, but then the grappling hook may stop you if something tries to pull you, but nothing's going to pull you out if people are just standing there watching the rope. So who is on?
I thought we were supposed to cut the rope.
Oh, that's an alternative. Okay, I guess we don't bring dwarves down here anymore. Boop.
No, we do to feed the well monster.
You guys are too funny.
So,
I mean,
go ahead.
I was going to cover him with my bow, so I don't know that I want to hold the other end of the rope.
I'm not extremely strong, so I don't know that would be much help.
So Nico's going to ask you all that if I go under the water, everyone in the hallway grab the rope and pull me out. And then if I'm not going down, kill the thing as fast as you can.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay. So we have that. And then Nico, before you step out there, what spells did you want to have active on yourself?
So I'm going to, before I walk out, right when I'm about to walk out there, put protection from evil on myself, cast Shillelagh, cast Bless, and then start walking when I cast Bless so I can hit the entire party. And then I'm going to ready in action to cast Aid as soon as something attacks me.
Okay. And then you're going to.
And I've got the spell durations written down so I can keep track. So how long they last.
Yeah. So everybody gets the bless. Everybody gets the bless. Everybody gets the bless.
You get a bless, and you get a bless, and you get a bless.
Okay, and then you said you had aid on yourself as well.
Correct. Well, I will have aid on myself as a ready to action. The cast aid as soon as I see
okay.
It only lasts. Aid lasts 4 rounds, and the other ones last 6, 7, and 9 rounds respectively. Bless, protection. Sorry, bless, shillelagh, and protection respectively.
Okay. All right. So you have everybody has the bless, and then the shillelagh is like the little saw blade, just because that looks like an enhanced weapon, and the protection is the little aura around the person. So Nico, we are not in initiative yet because you don't have an enemy, but you're doing these things and you can start to walk out. So, you're You're gonna go over here.
And I'm gonna
All right.
throw like if we had like a rock or I've got some random junk, I'm gonna throw like a coin in there or something.
There's some bones on the ledge. You can.
So I throw some bones in and everything.
Okay. Yeah, you toss some bones in, and let me just take a quick peek here at your proficiencies. All right, and your okay, so information. I think. Yeah, I think this is more going to be just a check. Okay, make a wisdom check for me.
All right, I go to tracker. Wait, no, it's not tracker. I go to. It's been a minute.
It's under attributes.
Attributes. Then I go to wisdom. And I get some bonuses, I believe, from either aid or bless, depending on the thing.
Okay, well, it's you make an 8. So yeah, you notice that there is right about here next to where you are, there's a little ledge just under the edge of the water. And down maybe 6 or 8 inches, and sitting on that ledge there is a skull, and there's a few bones, and there's something that looks a little bit odd about one of those bones that is there.
Okay, I'll walk closer to see if I can notice what it is.
Okay. You sort of kneel down and look at it, and you realize, oh, that particular bone, that's not a bone at all. That's some kind of white cylinder. Looks like a tube.
Is it within easy reach?
You could reach down about, like I said, 6 or 8 inches. For you, maybe reach down to your elbow under the water, and pick that up. And
So
now that you're looking at it,
to make sure there's any motion around the water, like ripples or anything, and if I don't see anything, I'll reach down quickly and try to grab it.
Okay, let me make a check here. Okay, yeah, the water looks perfectly still. You don't notice any movement under the water. So, and as you're reaching down for it, you also notice there's a little glint underneath that skull.
Skull or tube?
Well, there's the tube that's under some bones, or
Gotcha,
laying with some bones there. And then next to that, there's a skull. And now that he's reaching for that tube, he notices there's a little glint under the skull.
Are you going to go for a swim, Nico?
Yeah, I'm starting to get nervous. I'm going to wait. I'll back off and get ready for whatever's about to jump me, because I'm going to yell, hey, there's some stuff down here, and see if the noise brings whatever it is at me.
Okay.
There's a shiny in the water, but I'm kind of don't want to fall in.
Okay. You kneel down. You think about reaching. You think about reaching down in the water. Then you stand back up. Okay. So are you going to continue around to inspect what's on this ledge in the northeast corner over here?
Yeah, I'll start looking over here a little bit more, and I'll walk, like I said, around the edge of the water,
Okay.
and I'll make noise, and I'll be yelling what I'm seeing, giving the information to the whole group.
And you'll toss a couple of bones into the water.
Bones, yeah.
Okay. All right. So you toss a couple of bones into the water, and you can now tell that, as you're getting closer over there, there's definitely a number of coins over there, and there's also, it kind of looks like a sword that is laying on the ground, over here, amid those coins and the skeletal remains of whatever humanoid or humanoids might be there.
All right. As I'm walking too, I'll take the shillelagh and I'll smack the water and the rim of the water, so they'll make vibration sounds.
Okay. All right. The water.
I'm trying to get this thing I'm trying to get something to come after me in the first minute or two, not take too long.
The water is now rippling, so it's going to be harder to see any movement under the water because you're disturbing the surface of it.
And I'm going to step back to this spot.
Okay. All right.
And
so you're not.
I hit the ground a couple times, and I'm yelling to the party, "Hey, there's a pretty sword over there. I don't know how good it is. There's lots of money."
Okay. All right. And you smack the ground a couple of times. And after you smack the ground a couple of times, you do notice some movement underneath the surface of the water.
Get ready.
You notice a dark shape that sort of moves across your field of vision, and it's hard to tell exactly what you're seeing because it seems to blend in very very closely with whatever the color of the stone that makes up the shaft of this well is, and it is there underneath you, but it does not yet come to the surface. But you can tell something is down there, and it's something that's pretty large. Whatever it was that moved looks like it's at least your size, Nico, and you're not sure whether that's the whole thing or whether that's just part of whatever's down there.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I don't really have a lot of other options, so I'm going to keep walking around this corner here, and I'll keep hitting the ground and making noise and yelling, and just try to be an annoying, act like I'm a drunken dwarf.
Okay. All right.
Would Quint, as a ranger, have any knowledge of what kind of creature it might be? I mean, he's standing along the water there too. I don't know if he would have seen it.
And I'll warn you guys, it's coming, so be careful. Don't be near the water's edge. It needs to come after me.
Let me take a look and see. Now, in this edition, do rangers get any kind of favorite enemy or favorite terrain or any kind of crap like that?
He's got favorite enemy. That's giants. I don't think there was any kind of favorite terrain.
Oh, favorite terrain is hill. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Survival. If there's a proficiency for survival, that might have something in there. Or is there a hunting monster knowledge?
There's a hunting. Okay. So, yeah, go ahead and make us a hunting check and see if you can tell anything about what it might be.
All right.
15. That's exactly what you need. Yeah, Quint, you see some more movement now that Nico called out something. He's banging the floor over there. You see some more movement, and you'd swear that what you see moving under the water looks like a claw, and that claw is about the size of your dwarf.
I'll advise people that maybe we want to back away from the water and get back in the hall.
And Min kind of looks at you guys like, well, duh, it's water. Doesn't matter what's in it, it's water.
You like to drink it.
Not that much.
Okay, so Nico, it sounds like your friends are starting to back into the hall and leaving you in
To be bait.
leaving you in here by yourself. So
Yep, I'm bait. That was the plan.
Talon and Quint start to move back into the hallway. And
I'll
Nico,
say loudly, I guess nothing's here. Let me take this amazing sword and all these valuables.
okay.
I'm not going to take them. I'm just trying to talk trash.
Okay. All right.
Tempt the fates, as it were.
Are you
I don't
standing
think that's
still
gonna
or are
work.
you moving?
I'm moving around like right in this area. I don't know if this grayed out
Okay.
area is part of the room or not.
No, it's not.
That's wall.
Okay. So yeah. So as you take a step, Fudge, in this direction from where you were,
Fudge, that's gonna
then what you see is you see something come to the surface, and Quint and Archimedes, from your vantage point, and Talon, I guess, if you're looking between them as you're standing there, you will see a gigantic claw that will whoops, what happened there?
Oh, claw.
No.
Is it a scaled claw?
Okay, hold on just a second. I think I just did something wrong. Okay, yes. Yeah, okay.
I'm going to roll, if it's okay with you, to get my temporary hit points for when we... Oh, I'll wait until we roll aid. Never mind. I'll wait until it's my turn. Because I had readied an action to cast this aid on myself as soon as the thing came out.
There we go. That is what I was looking for. Okay. A giant claw reaches out, and you guys can see it's attached to something that looks like an enormous lobster. And it goes to grab Nico. And when it does, we are going to go ahead and we are going to have ourselves some initiative. So,
will aid happen on initiative, or will aid happen as soon as the claw starts coming out of the water?
Well, if you're having to cast it, it's going to happen on your initiative.
Okay.
So, so we'll go ahead and let me make sure I have him selected and submit. Okay, so, oh, wow. He got a pretty good roll there on his initiative. Okay. Do
we get a bonus for bless?
Not to initiative. It's a plus to attack and plus to saving throws. Same with aid will be a plus to attack and saving throws. My protection from evil on myself gives me another -2 to the, like, a bonus to my AC versus attacks from evil creatures.
How many rounds have expired since you cast the bless spell when it starts?
Okay. I've got Garm, Nico, Quint, Talon, Min. Okay. And do we have Archimedes yet? Or is Bob on yet?
He's here.
I see
He's here.
Bob. Yeah. Bob, go ahead. And, oh, there you go. All right. Well, you got it. And then it goes in ascending order in this edition. So, the giant crayfish is the first one to act. And the giant crayfish is going to say, "Ooh, noisy dinner." Actually, it's not going to say that. It's not going to say that. It's just going to reach out, and it is going to try to attack Nico. So, claw the first. Oh, whoops! I'm sorry. Claw the first will hit an AC -4, and it deals 4 damage to Nico.
Does it count as an evil creature? Because if it does, I'm at a -5 with the protection from evil.
Nope, it counts as a natural animal.
Okay.
And a natural hungry animal. And then Claw the second is going to reach out, and it hits an armor class 5, which I believe misses Nico. So you take 4 points of crunching damage, and let's see. I think that. Okay, yeah. I think it has to hit you with both claws to be able to try to pull you into the water. So it only hits you with 1. So for right now, it just has damaged you. And you guys can hear Nico go, "Ah!" or whatever he does when a big giant crayfish comes out of the water and attacks him. Talon, you are up.
Well, Talon's going to go just right up here next to Nico and swing his sword at the big claw.
Okay. AC 7. AC 7 is not quite going to hit.
Didn't think so. Okay.
All right. Now, what is your run speed?
Well, that's a good question. Let me look it up real quick. Tracker.
When you rolled your 7, did you put in the +1 for bless?
I did. Now I'm trying to remember where you find speed. There it is.
Yeah.
My run speed says 180.
Okay. Yeah. You can remember, since these rounds are a minute long, you can move out of the way if you want to. This thing is in the water.
Yeah, so. Is it now? So it's only in those squares, right? Where it's
only in those. It's only in those squares now, and with a full minute, you have enough time to get all the way back out in the hall if you want to.
No, I'm just gonna move over here,
okay.
So I'm out of the way of the 2 shooters.
Okay. You notice one of the ice stalks kind of looks at you, but you seem to be able to run faster than it can swim, and so it doesn't chase you. All right, so that was Talon. Garm, you are up next.
Okay. So how many rounds have expired since he cast the bless spell?
This would be, I guess we'll call this the second round. Because he was running around and doing stuff. It took about a minute to finally get this thing to show up and attack him.
All right, I'm gonna attack with darts.
Okay. So,
Is it large or man size?
He's large. So you want to move to where you can see him, since you're in the hall there. Remember, this black line here is a solid wall, so you gotta get either out here or at least over here, so you can see where these guys are. Okay, all right. AC 13 will miss. 12 will miss. 15 will miss. My goodness.
All right, 4 misses. And I'm going to move.
Somebody got their mojo tonight.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. All right. So, and those darts go sploop, 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 sploop into the water, and they disappear down into the darkness. Quint, you are up.
He's gonna go hide in this. Well, not hide, but move over to this corner here and take a couple of shots at the creature.
Okay.
Oh, that's right. We have.
Okay, an 8 and a 6. Those will both miss.
All right.
Yeah. And Madam Min.
Yes.
You are up.
Okay. I still think everybody is just nuts. But I have to, if I want to use color spray, I've got to get closer. And so I'm not pointing directly at people.
Okay.
So let's see here. Okay, so a vivid fan-shaped spray. All right, so. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out again. It's been 2 weeks at least. How to show you what it does.
Hold on a second. Casca, can you mute when you're not talking? Because I don't know whether there's like something rubbing on your mic or whatnot, but we're getting a lot of stuff that sounds like either you got a fan blowing on your mic or, you're in a car going down the road or whatever. So, yeah. All right. Okay, so go ahead, Heather, and continue, please.
Okay, I'm trying to figure out how to put that on the screen.
Color spray?
Yeah, what it does.
All right, well, let's go to your character sheet, your spells.
Oh, there.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, 5 by 20 by 20 foot wedge. And then, okay, up to 4 creatures in the area of effect. All creatures above the level of the spellcaster and all those 6 level 6 hit dice or more are entitled to a saving throw. Blind or unseeing creatures are not affected by the spell. Creatures not allowed or failing and whose hit dice or levels are less than or equal to are struck unconscious. Those hit dice or levels 1 or 2 greater than the wizards are blinded. Those hit dice are stunned, reeling and unable to think or act coherently for 1 round. Okay, so this is a saving throw against spells. that it is entitled to. And what is your level?
2.
You are level 2 right now. And this guy counts as he counts as that hit dice monster. So he is entitled to a saving throw against spells. And we will see. All right. He was supposed to roll. Public. Okay. You guys didn't see his saving throw, did you?
Oh,
No.
sorry.
Okay. No, that's all right. So he failed. He had to roll a 16. He rolled a 4. That's
Okay.
weird because I have a little button tick that says make rolls public. But I guess that doesn't apply to saving throws for monsters.
I thought saving throws were low is good and high is bad. Or is it high is good and low is bad?
No, high is good. You want to be above the saving throw number. That's why as you start off your saving throw, it's high. And then as you gain levels, it gets lower and lower and lower.
That makes sense.
All right. So he fails his saving throw, and through the mystic feedback of the spell, you can tell Min that he is stunned. So by being stunned, that means that he is 3 hit dice or more higher than you are. So he will not be able to act the next round. But beyond that, he will go back to having normal
Now,
actions.
I can only cast the spell once, right?
Right. Unless you memorized it twice.
Okay.
That's the way the spells work in this edition. If you want the same spell 2 times and you have 2 spell slots, you got to memorize the same spell twice. Otherwise, if you memorize it once, you get 1 casting, and then whatever the other spell you memorized was, you get to cast that from the other slot. Or however many slots you get at this level.
So she casts the spell and it hits it, and then she's like, "Oh, I stunned it! I stunned it!"
Okay. And what do you recall, did you put down, did we note for you somewhere what your movement speed was? So somewhere. Okay, let's see. All right, I don't think
under tracker on her sheet.
Under tracker.
Towards the bottom.
Towards the bottom. Okay, no, we didn't do that. All right. Okay, never mind. All right, base speed. Okay, so we'll just say that it's comparable to. We'll say it's comparable to the. Actually, it doesn't matter what it is because the crayfish is stunned, so you can get out of there if you want to, and he can't do anything about it.
She is getting the hell away from them.
All right, Nico. Hey, your wizard came, and now this thing is looking. Its eye stalks are sort of going wobbly, and it looks like it's not in full control of itself. Do you want to hang out there, or do you want to? You could attack first, but do you want to hang out there after you attack, or do you want to move after you attack?
I want to keep its attention on me, so I'm going to hang out there, and I'm going to use my spell I prepared, like I mentioned, as my readied action. So I've got 3 extra dice, and I've got aid. So my saves are up by 1 again, and my 2 hits are up by 1. So I'm at a +2 to hit and a +2 to saves.
Okay. All right. And that So that was your movement, your action. Anything else for you this round?
Yeah, I don't think I'm allowed to do it on multiple things, so I think that's all I
Okay.
can get on.
All right, Archimedes. Last but not least, the wizard has stunned this thing. Nico is drawing its attention. When it gets its senses back, what would you like to do?
Shoot it.
Okay, so go ahead and shoot it. And I think it's plus one to attack rolls, right, from the blast? Nico?
That's correct.
Okay. AC is 16. That's going to miss from the first one. AC 9. Okay, no, don't roll damage.
That's the damage.
Yeah, you need to roll your
wrong one.
Your second attack roll, I should say.
Sorry about
15. That's gonna miss as well. All right. Well, okay. Geez. An entire party has managed to miss this thing. The whole round.
I have a question. Since it's
Not me.
stunned, does it lose its dexterity bonus to AC?
It has an AC. It's based on its natural armor.
Okay.
So
Just
curious. Yeah. Good question, though. It is not necessarily the most dexterous thing, especially when it's half in water and half out of water. But it attacks with its strength and it defends with its natural armor. All right, so the giant crayfish is up once again, and it is going to just sort of sit there and be dazed for a round. Talon, you are up.
Talon's going to do basically the same thing he did last time.
Okay.
Come around here, he's going to strike or attempt to strike, and then go back. So
Okay. Wait, we're not getting that fan noise anymore, so if you...
I turned the fan so it would blow away from me a little bit.
Okay.
So,
All right, there we go. 15 will miss with that attack. Okay. Garm, you are up. $13, $15. Oh, hey, a 1 will hit. For 3 points of damage. So a big lawn dart goes out there and hits the crayfish and sticks in its carapace. And Garm draws first blood. All right, Quint.
I will take another couple of shots at it here and just stay where I'm at.
Okay. Oh, yes, -2. 13 will not hit, but roll damage for your first arrow. Two damage.
That's 2 less.
Yep. Okay. Now, Min, I'm gonna go back and take a look and see for 1 round. Okay, so we're just gonna say that when it comes back up, the effect will wear off when its turn comes back up because it's affected for 1 round. So, Min, you can go and do whatever it is you want to do this time.
Okay. I want to. What do we get for being blessed?
You +1 to attack rolls, and then what else is it, Nico?
Doing.
+1 for attacks and saves.
And +1 for saves. So
Wait, let me double check the saves. I think it's +1 for attacks. It's definitely +1 for morale saves. I'm not positive about the others. So I'll look.
okay, all right. So basically, just +1 to attacks. So if you have anything that requires an attack roll, you get a +1 to that. Yeah, and remember this is a wall, so you want to get to where you can see it.
Yeah, it's morale. +1 against fear effects, and +1 to hit. It's not a +1 to all saves.
Okay, all right.
I tried to hit it with a sling bullet. I don't know if I was successful or not.
Okay. All right. Well, if you tried it from there, you just shot against a wall. So I guess you would have moved to where you can see, and
there's a
then
wall
try
there.
to
I'm
shoot it.
sorry.
Yeah, that big black thing, that's a wall.
Oh, geez, I didn't even see that.
Yeah, and so the 15 AC 15 is not going to cut it. So that will miss.
Okay.
And you can move back in the hall if you want. Then Nico, you're up.
All right, this time I'll take a swing with my shillelagh.
Okay. Now, with your shillelagh, does that also give you a +1 to hit?
It does.
So it's a +3 with that particular weapon, right?
I'm going to double check that because it's been 2 weeks and I haven't used it for a bit, but I'm relatively confident. It's a +1 and it counts as a magical weapon. It's a +1 bonus to its attack roll. So yeah, and then it's a 1d4 +1 for damage because it's a large creature.
Right. Okay. So go ahead and make your attack.
So right now I've got the +1 from the bless, +1 from aid, and +1 from
the magic
shillelagh.
weapon, yeah.
So I have +3 to hit.
Mm-hmm. AC 9. That's going to miss. Do you want to move at all?
Nope, I want to keep its attention on me, and I figure it'll think the bleeding dwarf is probably the tastiest creature.
Okay. And Archimedes, you are up.
Hey, we once again try this.
Okay. AC of 1, that will hit. Seven damage. All right. That seemed to, and an AC 3 that will also hit. Five damage.
To get my
And
bearings.
with the 5 damage, this creature is bloodied. And so that is the end of Archimedes' turn. And on the crayfish's turn, the dazed effect wears off.
I'll keep yelling.
Huh?
I'm still talking trash. I'm like yelling, Archimedes, you're my hero, laddie.
Okay. And the crayfish decides that this meal is a little bit too much trouble, And so it slips back into the water and it starts diving down. Now, if any of you, Nico, you have the heavy armor, so your movement speed is probably less than 120 feet, right?
I'm a dwarf. My like fastest moving speed is less than 120 feet.
Okay, so that means that you won't get a chance of an opportunity attack, and this thing just dives straight down, and you can just see its tail flipping, and it disappears deep under the water, and it is gone.
Well, I think we're going to have to make a metal cage to block off this water in the future then, my friends.
And let me make a check over here. There is a percentile check I need to make. With all of that splashing and all the waves and everything. And I'm going to say it's that percentage chance. Okay. All right. So the waves all sort of die down and the monster disappears. Nico, you seem to have survived. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna put my shillelagh away, hoping that the creature be gone. I'm thinking like Nico. The creature be gone for the moment, and walk over and check where that scroll case and other stuff was on the lip of the water, and pull it out.
Okay, all right. You go back over about here. And you do find, in fact, the skull and the tube are still there.
So I pull that out and put it on safe, dry ground and go around, and we'll start helping everyone compiling the items of value.
Do you also, Nico, pick up the skull that's there and see what was glinting?
I'll bring it with us, too.
Okay, all right. As you,
I want to do funeral rites for all of these. Any of the skulls or bones that look like they're humanoid, I'll need to at some point in the near future do some sort of burial ceremony for them.
Sure. As you move that skull, you see a pin, like a pin that would be used like a brooch, that looks like it is made of a very shiny silvery material, and at one end of it, held in a claw like a setting, is a fairly good sized ruby.
Wow. I'll start handing that over.
That's what was glinting under the skull. So
I'll hand that over to Talon. As a weaponsmith and an armorsmith. As a weaponsmith and an armorsmith, do I recognize the metal?
When you pull it out of the water and look at it, oh yeah, that looks like platinum. That pin is made out of platinum.
Lads and lasses, we found a valuable item, and I handed over. I think Talon was the person with appraisal.
Right, and then the scroll tube. What do you want to do with that?
I'm handing everything over to Talon to take a look at, and I'll go around. Remember, there was the sword, so I go find that sword, and then we'll go through and we'll just check everywhere. And I want to look for secret doors and like the sliding and the stonework traps and stuff. I was busy last time, but this time I'll walk in a clockwise motion around the pool and see if there's any levers or catches or sliding hiding spots.
Okay. You work around. You do not see. Any stonework features in here. So there's no sliding doors or anything like that. Any hidden doors or pits or traps or anything of that nature. And in in and amongst all the bones over there, you find a mundane, normal, showing signs of rust longsword. So it's a sword that appears to be made of some sort of mundane steel. And then there are also 17 copper pieces, 30 silver pieces, and 19 gold pieces. So you find that. And we'll put that in the... put this in the... Where's the... okay, so we'll do treasure check. Well, is that platinum pin with ruby in setting and scroll tube. Okay. All right.
Scroll tube just like white wood, or is it ivory?
The scroll tube is actually, it's made of polished bone, is what it looks like. And it is sealed with wax on both ends. So it looks like it has not, it probably anything that's in there is dry.
Well, I would like to do an appraisal on the brooch, and I'm going to hand the scroll tube to Min and let her deal with it.
Okay. All right. So, Min, you get a scroll tube. Talon, go ahead and roll an appraisal check, if you will, please. Oh, okay. All right. Talon, as if anybody looks at Talon, you see that his eyes do that Scrooge McDuck thing, and they briefly turn into little gold coins. And you realize that Talon, this piece of jewelry is worth about 2,000 gold pieces.
My precious. Okay. I'll let everybody know.
Okay.
I think it's worth. So.
All right. And then Min, you are holding a scroll tube. What would you like to do?
Wait till we get out of here so I can see what it says.
Okay. All right. All right. You guys make a thorough search, and Nico, you would estimate that there are, from the number of skulls and arm bones and things like that you see, there's not a complete, skeleton of anything, but there's probably about at least four individuals, including the one whose skull was sitting on top of the platinum pin just under the water. There's about four individuals here that... Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Depending on how much weight or how difficult it would be to transport it, when we're all leaving as a group from here, I'll ask everyone if we can pass through that Molosseum area, because I could always put them in there and say a prayer over them, because that's a hallowed area by the other priests.
Yeah, sure. You guys can go and put them in a mausoleum. We can narratively do that, and then you say your little prayers to Clangeddon, and have him, ask his blessings over the deceased, and everybody just walks back to Hommlet when you get out of here. Well,
one more thing before we leave. I want to ask everyone if we're going to be leaving after this, or if we're going to go back down to those tunnels that were small that we found to see if there's any sign of any threats coming from there. The little cavey tunnels in the bottom left.
Well, my
So
concern
southwest.
is if the big crab has laid eggs, and then we're going to have crabs all throughout.
We could always, it's crayfish. We could always sell it for food supplies to the town.
Well, somebody's going to have to boil the well to cook them.
Yeah, there's been a couple of suggestions of what to do with the well. Somebody suggested building like a steel cage a few feet under the surface of the water to keep this thing from being able to come up and attack people. The likelihood is a creature like this, it probably got here. I'll just say that Quint would be able to reason this out as a hunter. Crayfish or freshwater. Very unlikely this thing crawled through the dungeon and found the pool and got in that way. Much more likely that there's an underground aquifer or underground freshwater stream of some sort, and the crayfish got in that way. Also, Quint knows that crayfish are the kind of animal that it never stops growing until it dies. And so the question is, how large was it when it got to this well? And has it been, feeding on creatures that have dropped into the well long enough that it is now too big to get out through the stream it came in? Or is the stream that it came in large enough that once it decides it can't get any more food here, it's going to just move on to some other hunting ground? Because something that big is going to need food.
Food me monkey.
Yeah, so that's another option that you guys have if you didn't want to build, like some sort of steel barrier underneath the surface of the water. You could figure out some way that you might be able to go swimming down there, find out where this thing is, find out if it has family, if there are more of them, and then you could possibly make gumbo for the entire village of Hommlet with this thing.
I've heard mystical stories of this wonder you called gumbo.
Yeah.
I think Ben wants to go for a swim.
Yeah. Well, there might be somebody over in Hommlet that have a really good recipe for some gumbo.
Nothing like going to a crawfish party. Yeah. That was interesting, to say the least.
Yeah, especially down on the bayou.
Well, they
crawfish
shipped it
party
into,
on the bayou. Yeah.
They shipped it into Council Bluffs live.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And didn't know where they put them till they could cook them, until you went to the bathroom and you found them in the bathtub.
Oh.
Making little noises against the porcelain.
Oh, my goodness. Okay.
Anyway.
All right. So, you guys, the question is, do you all want to spend time investigating those tunnels now, or do you want to save that for later and head back to town at the moment?
I say let's... She kind of looks around and goes, I think we should just go look at the tunnels and then make sure that we're not leaving anything to chance. We know we've already got possibly one issue with this big thing here.
I agree. I hate having a base of operations that's not secure, and we already got one one area of it where we don't control what's going on.
Yeah.
Garm, do you have plenty of darts?
Well, I just wasted 8. Let me see.
Well, yeah, that was the only thing I was thinking about as far as going town. Does everybody have enough ammunition for their...
If we're crawling through tunnels, I don't know how easy it will be to throw darts as the
How tall do those tunnels look?
Those tunnels very quickly beyond the area that you explored. Talon kind of was going around looking for the gold pieces, and once the gold ran out, he quit following the tunnels. But he realized that those very quickly become about halfling size. So
maybe get in there.
And even for Talon, he's kind of like, he can't stand up to his full height. He is stooping a little bit. So these tunnels are anywhere from about 1 foot to maybe 15 inches wide, and perhaps in some places there the ceiling is as low as 2 feet. So he would kind of have to hunch over as he goes through there. Anybody that's a human, it would be crawling, and you would be like, not only would you be crawling through the tunnels, but you would be kind of squeezing your shoulders through the tunnels as well.
You'd be Bruce Willis and Die Hard.
So as a dwarf in heavy armor, I'd be really wide, but I'm like about 4'4", so I'd be bending over at spots.
You'd be bending over, and you'd probably be trying to,
sideways.
Sideways.
I'm fatter than that too, so I wouldn't probably even fit that way.
Yeah, and just because of the way the armor does and does not bend.
Men's used to being in small spaces.
Yeah. Well, Min could bravely go exploring on her own if she wants to. Because there wouldn't be a whole lot of other people that could go exploring with her.
Well, I could go.
Yeah. We could set up traps and trap a pack of badgers and just let them loose and chain a door across it.
Seriously?
Nico doesn't have a lot of outdoors experience. He was underground all the time. He just heard badgers were mean.
Well, then this is underground. This is your bailiwick.
We could get shovels and picks and we could dig tunnels until we find where it goes, but that will take a while. But I'm down. Digging's part of the faith.
There are tunnels already. You just have to go through them.
Yeah. So let me ask you to save some time here. Min and Talon. Mm-hmm. Tell me how much time your two characters would take to explore. Would you take an hour? Would you take 2 hours? Would you take 8 hours? Would you take a whole day to see if you can figure out what this network of tunnels looks like and where it goes?
Min's ready to go for as long as it takes to, explore as many as possible until her stomach gets hungry.
Okay. So, I
would say no more than 3 hours, but because I don't want everybody else waiting around while doing that.
Well, no, I think he's probably just going to do
We'll set up camp at the gate, at the exit where you'd come out, and then we'll set up and prepare in case you come running with something behind you.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and you guys move your tokens kind of over this way to the other side of the map. And this is the area where you had found these things. And those of you that are not going through the tunnels can figure out where you want to array yourselves. Your first choice, Talon and Min, are you going to explore together, or one of you could go one way and the other one go the other way?
I say we stick together.
I'm going to hand you all. Hold on. I'm going to give you all another healing potion each, just in case something happens. And then I think I have chalk on me, so I'm going to give you some chalk. That way, if the tunnel's split, you can make marks and notes to yourself on which way to go to get back out.
Okay. All right. So then the question is, if you guys are sticking together, you want to explore north first or south first? Because the first fork is north
Rock,
and south.
paper, scissors?
Can we just flip a coin?
Yeah, I've got 10 pieces of chalk and 10 candles. So do you all want to take a couple candles and some chalk?
Oh, I was going to light a torch.
Okay.
I cannot, so I was lighting my lantern, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, and does your lantern uses lamp oil?
Yep.
Do you want my last flask? I've got one left.
I've still got some. We're good.
Okay.
All right. So, just somebody pick north or south.
We're going south.
Okay. All right. So, going south here, you go this way, and there's one kind of dead end of a tunnel and another little dead end of a tunnel. And these look like they are, they follow like some fissures in the rock, but some places they seem like they've been dug out, or and you're not sure whether they were dug out by tools or dug out by claws or whatever.
So this is a dead end.
Well, no, we're going south. I'm just following the South Fork.
Okay.
So, and then we figure we'll come back.
That's a dead end.
So yeah, that's a dead end, and then we get some of this here, and then we get there's some more over here.
Okay. Yeah, we'll continue to go down this
And then we get some stuff over here. And then I think, nope, it's not.
God.
Okay. Then you
Archimedes, do you have the that detect noise thing that rogues get?
Yes.
Okay, then we're gonna all be really quiet, and that way, if something does go down, I know as a dwarf that sound echoes through the underground pretty far.
Okay.
You might be able to hear something and give us a warning.
Yeah, the Nico, or I'm sorry, Talon and Min, there's all kinds of substrata in here. Definitely some of this is, like I said, natural splits and fissures out of the bedrock, but there are areas where it's like, it's more like soil. And so some of the walls of this are more sandy than rock. So the properties of sound in here would be a little bit uneven. In some places, it's going to echo really nicely. In other places, it's going to go. So you're now going to keep heading kind of northish.
Yeah, I was telling Archimedes about the listen for sound, not because we necessarily hear everything, but if we hear screaming.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you guys start to realize, okay, this is like a real freaking warren of tunnels in here. And then going up here. Okay, there's one Talon. I'm going to tell you that if you decide to go right at this intersection, you're going to just find more branching tunnels that will go on for at least an hour.
When you say right here, or are you talking about
I'm sorry, you go left there.
Oh, here?
Go left there. It just kind of goes in branches for like another hour of stuff. So, and you're still not reaching the end of it by that time.
And I'm not finding any more glints or.
Nope.
There's no gold.
And then you find some other stuff here, and eventually you guys are starting to figure out, well, there's some places that this sort of comes together, it seems like, and then where you think it's going to come together, it kind of splits off again.
Oh joy.
And then going down here, yep, hey, guess what? There's another place that it just sort of tunnels go off into sort of oblivion. All right.
Man, do we want to keep going north or do we want to backtrack?
Let's go just a little further north.
Okay. Yeah. We'll say every one of these places you start to get to the point where every one of these branch offs, you go about 15 minutes, you go, yeah, okay, this is looking like it's going nowhere.
I'd basically say next branch off. Let's take it and maybe try to head back.
Well, it looks like it's turning to the left up ahead.
Yep.
Which is going to go off into who knows what maze. I think we're going to have to backtrack.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So now you backtrack where, for the benefit of chat, that's where they had gotten up to. And then coming back down here. All right. So, you get here, and then you want to head off this way.
Yeah, I was waiting for men to catch up.
Okay.
Great.
All right. And then, that hooks up with some place that looks a little familiar. And you can fill in that little loop, and then this starts heading up north.
Am I seeing any evidence of seeing or smelling any evidence of other beings that have been through here?
There's evidence that in some places there's evidence that parts of this were dug out. So yes, at some point something had been through here. There's not really, and there is the faint, and you would feel like kind of fading odor of just sort of decay, as though perhaps from time to time the ghouls had been through this way. But there's nothing recent. You don't have a stench of, like, you don't feel like you're approaching anything undead or anything of that nature. It's just more. Yeah. Okay. So there's a little bit of this. All right. So we're gonna go sort of this way.
Did not connect where I expected it.
Yeah. Yeah. This is a Gary Gygax module. So it's going to. This adventure is just going to be very
weird.
Very strangely.
Okay. I've had enough. Right. Let's circle back and go down to here.
Okay, so you guys eventually, both of your stomachs are rumbling. Archimedes, Garm, Quint, and Nico, you guys that are over here waiting, you don't hear any screams. You do occasionally hear your own stomachs rumbling. Occasionally you wonder should we go check on them? But then after a while, you hear some noise, and it's the noise of people coming and like panting a little bit, like they've been gone a long time. And both Min and Talon
Your men
emerge.
whining, I'm hungry.
Yeah.
Hurry up.
You know what I've been dealing with?
So you guys can report. Yeah, it's just a big warren of
You got any
tunnels.
treats?
That's a big mass of tunnels we didn't even explore at all. It goes on forever. We should just cave in like the main part and wall up that doorway.
Sounds good. Maybe we can pay some miners.
Unless you want to make it like torture. Here, go in there. Now you can find your way out.
Okay. So then emerging, anything else you guys want to do before you return to the surface and start making your way back to town?
Go back to town, get something to eat.
Okay. Whoops.
If everybody agrees.
Yeah, so you come back to the surface here. And hey, Min, you were waiting until you got into some daylight to look at your scroll tube.
Okay.
Now you got some daylight.
Okay. So
We should talk to the gnolls and let them know that like everything's cleared out except for the one crayfish.
And they say, "Ooh, crayfish! You
Giant
mean well,
crayfish.
monster? That's monster and well."
Yeah, it was. We sent it running, afraid of us, but we weren't able to finish it off.
Oh, well.
Yes, in the well.
Maybe we will go. Maybe we will have some warriors go down there, and with spears, and wait for it to come. Maybe we try to fish for it.
If you do that, bring a couple like, I don't know, big tree trunks or something. You might be able to block off its escape.
Oh, okay. We do that. And they say, "Good. Glad you fix. Glad you get rid of all not dead things down there. And anything else you want us to do?"
I don't know.
Keep your
Whatever.
eye out.
Okay,
how about they collapse in the tunnels thingy?
Ooh, tunnels thingy. Not know about tunnels. What tunnels? And you guys tell them about where the tunnels are beyond the mausoleum. Okay. Oh, well, we block up back of mausoleum. Nothing get through there. We not stonemasons. We kind of try to block it off temporarily, make sure nothing come in, but maybe you get builders come in and make proper wall to block it up.
We'll be hiring people in the future to fix things up.
Oh, nice.
Hey,
well,
Archimedes, you want to pay them for the next couple of weeks in advance so we know that everything's good? We just took some silver from that basement, so we could probably use that and just be ahead on our payments.
Yeah, we can give them a couple of platinum. How many were there?
How much do we owe them per month?
You guys, I think
give them like a 5 platinum.
Should cover a couple months.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you didn't find any platinum pieces, but you can do that with by converting gold.
That's how much I have.
Unless you have. Oh, okay, you have 5 platinum. Okay, I'm sorry. I thought you were saying paying them out of what you found down there. All right,
whatever we find down there, we'll divvy up later between us, and then
okay. Okay, so yeah, 5 platinum. They're very happy with that. And they will tell Nico that they are making they found some tree bark, and they are doing some sketches of potential designs for a temple layout for Clangeddon, but they will want to show them to you so you can advise them on
I don't want to use a non-weapon proficiency for this, but I'll let you know. I'll start trying to long-term, over weeks and months, whenever we're around them, start teaching them Dwarven and start learning Gnoll.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
Min kind of goes up to the one that's like the leader and says,
yeah.
So while we're gone, if you guys would be so kind as to start cleaning up like the broken furniture and seeing what can be thrown away and what can be maybe saved if there's anything, and then maybe use it for firewood or stack it up or whatever and clean up stuff. But I'll bring you back a treat if you guys can do that, and I'll help with sweeping and stuff like that. But the big stuff, the furniture and the broken stuff like that can all just get thrown away in a trash heap or burned.
Oh, okay. We take heavy stuff, use stuff that no good for campfires. If there anything that not good for human but good for Gnoll, we will give it to followers for rewards, and we will start cleaning up.
Speaking of which, I remind everyone, like Archimedes, Talon, Garm, and everyone of that the storage armory and the storage of food and drinks and everything. And like make sure that I think we should make sure that the Gnolls, as much as possible, are fully armed and armored from what they can use from that. We should keep some stuff there for future people that we hire to be guards or work for us. But we should figure out what we're taking back with us and what we're leaving here. And they should try to eat what they can from hunting. But they should also be able to dip into the rations of the salted meat so they don't go hungry.
Oh, okay. And they say.
And I consult with the rest of the group about this. Like I said, I was talking to Garm and Talon and everybody. I want to make sure everyone's okay with this before I give them orders that they're allowed to. Like the chief is allowed to ration out food and what's needed. Like, are we going to carry back that one thing of alcohol with us? So I don't know what our exact plan with all that equipment is. I know a lot of it's going to stay here. There's bolts and arrows for people who use that stuff.
Yeah, I would do this. I would say, yeah, that's perfect.
Talon's busy throwing up in the moat because he's disgusted by the 5 platinum pieces that were just given to Gnolls.
They're hired henchmen.
Yes.
Overpaid hired henchmen.
They are some of the best paid hired henchmen around. I mean, you guys are going to come back and they're going to be wearing silk top hats and tuxedos and
have mustaches,
have canes and monocles and stuff, and be like, I say, do you have any Grey Poupon?
So for the whatever basic shields, spears, and stuff that were inside that armory before we leave, I'll teach them really shortly how to etch a simple symbol of Clangeddon onto it. It doesn't do anything, but it does narratively make them more tied to it.
Okay, all right. Somewhere in the treasure sheet, you guys, I think we said how many of all those items. And if you guys want to figure out, okay, how many you mark off that the gnolls now have this many of those items, you can do that.
I think
at
the
some
people in our
point.
group who use bows and arrows can take whatever arrows they want. I think the gnolls should take whatever arrows or crossbow bolts they want, and we leave the supplies of arrows and crossbow bolts here for refilling. We should leave most of the supplies here, except and then let them scavenge through the arms and armor to see if they have upgrades.
Okay. They will, since they are acting as henchmen, they will kind of consult you guys. They might set stuff aside, but they will ultimately consult with you guys before they just take stuff and make sure that it's all right what they take. So at the end of the day, one of you guys, whoever decides you're going to be kind of the quartermaster for the henchmen, will need to go through and figure out how you're going to divvy up those resources for the henchmen. And then
I nominate Archimedes. I'm their spiritual advisor. I don't do logistics.
Okay. So yeah,
I think it should be somebody that understands the value of a platinum piece.
They're paid for months. This is
they're paid for months.
How many months? Actually, you paid them for 5 years.
There's 10 of them, aren't there? There's quite a few of these guys. So that's only a gold piece a month.
All right, so you guys are doing that, Min. You want to pop open that scroll tube at some point?
Once I get done talking to this guy, I'll go over into where one of the arrow slits is and open it up.
Okay, so you see that it's sealed wax, and it's got a little cord that has been embedded into the wax, a little piece of it sticking out that you can pull on that cord and unwind it and break the seal on one end or the other. Okay. So you pull that out and you look inside, and there is a rolled up piece of parchment.
Hey.
And you pull that out and you start looking at it, and you see, there are 3 spells for magic users on this scroll.
Okay.
And the spells that you see, spells on the scroll are they are push and stinking cloud and fly. And in this edition, let me just double check in here. Magic. Spells. Okay, spell lists. There we go. Just want to make sure that they didn't change the name of one of these spells from one edition to the next. Okay, let's see. This is Stinking Cloud is a 2nd level spell for magic users. Fly is a 3rd level spell for magic users. And let's see. What is the... Do we we still have that. I think push is called something else in this edition.
Telekinetics?
Telekinesis, that might be
Maybe.
it. Let's see. Which? Yeah, let me go over here to this. And I'm going to, oops, that's not right. I'm going to go to this edition. And I'm going to go to the open with. Okay. And let's see. Spell tables, magic users on page 41 of this edition. Okay, so it was a it was a first level spell in that edition. And that first level spell does. Oh crap. Okay. Yeah. Cleric, not cleric, druid, not druid. Magic user. Come on, magic user. Where the hell are you? Way down here. All right. This is push. Upon pronouncing solid magic, you kind of invisible push strike against it. All right, so then back and look at first level spells and see what is close to that. I think in yeah, you know what we're gonna say, because there's not a good one-to-one. Not a good one-to-one from first edition to second edition. We're just gonna say that the that it is Phantasmal Force. There we go. So instead of push, it's Phantasmal Force. Let me edit that.
What level is that?
Force. That's a first level spell. Stinking Cloud is a second level spell. And Fly is a third level spell. So there's one first, one second, one third level spell on there.
And remember, you could always talk to Lord Burne and maybe trade or do some sort of negotiation if you like other spells better, or try to learn these if you like these.
Yep.
Crap.
So
we traded. He and I traded spells, didn't we? Already.
You got something from him, which hopefully you wrote down and made notes about somewhere on your character sheet. But yeah, you did something like that.
Yeah, there was some horse trading there for spells.
Can't you copy those into her spell book without destroying the scroll?
I know in some editions you have to be of a level to cast a spell before you can do that. Some editions there's a chance you'll ruin it if you try to copy it and you're not of a level to do that. So we will look at the rules on that when she wants to do that, and we will decide whether she wants to do it now or save those until she is. But definitely the Phantasmal Force she could do now.
Yeah, I don't think you can copy it into a spell book regardless whether it fails or succeeds without it destroying it from the scroll, removing it from the scroll.
Yeah, I thought that too.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is why if you decide you are going to trade, it might be worth letting Burne transcribe it, or if you are going to use it for yourself, awesome. But do it in a nice, quiet place where you won't be interrupted.
I wouldn't trading those spells to him. If I were her. I'll keep.
Yeah, the
Those are
Phantasmal
all nice
Forces.
and their spells. So no, I wouldn't give those away. I wouldn't trade them away.
Yeah, Phantasmal Force gives you a nice little thing. So I'll let you look those all up in the player's handbook on your own time. Then,
unless she's a specialist and can't use one of those schools. I don't know if she's a specialist in that.
Yeah. All right. So now, we anything else you're doing here, or heading back to town?
Yeah, we just gave the Gnolls their marching orders to equip the basic leather armor or shields or spears or whatever they need, restock crossbow bolts or arrows. Same with any of our people that use arrows, should just take some of them, and then we should head back.
Okay. So in short order, you find yourself back in Hommlet, and you repair to the inn of the Welcome Wench for some feasting and some celebration. And then, while you are doing that, while the PCs are doing that, the players are going to take a break. I have 13 minutes after the hour, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to... hey, Deacon Smith. Welcome. Thanks for coming and hanging out with us. We're going to take our break now. We're going to be away for a few minutes. I'm going to bring the music back up while we are away. Remember, this month, our music is all coming to us courtesy of Pipe Dream Hits. I'm going to put the slate up. Then I will mute myself, step away, grab a drink. You guys, players, go ahead and take a bio break or do anything, or you can stay in chat. And if any of you are monitoring the chat and Twitch, you can chat with the people that are there. All right, we will talk to you in a few minutes. I'll be right back. Oh, all right. Back from break. Everybody else back?
Here.
Okay. All right. Casca, thank you. If anybody wants to see in the general chat, Casca has pasted in the thing on spells. So yes, if you are able to successfully copy the spell into your spell book, it will remove it from the scroll. And I did not yet look up what happens if you can't use the scroll. Some editions there's like a chance of failure, and if you botch it, you'll lose the spell from the scroll and fail to copy it in. And in other editions, if the spell is too high level for you, you just simply can't even try to just copy it at all. So,
well, some editions you can't read it at all.
I don't think you can cast. You can write a spell in your book that's higher level than you can cast. And if she tries to cast it from the scroll, there's a chance of misfire on that.
Yeah, that's covered on the same page in the DMG. So.
All right, so we are back at the Inn of the Welcome Winch, and so there's potential to have a little bit of stuff that you guys want to do in town, but there also probably at some point will be a summons to talk with some of the town leaders or some of the other folk to give an update on what has gone on. So let's start with what you as individual PCs would like to do. So I know from earlier in the day that there was something that that Min wanted to do. So Min, let's go ahead and start with you.
Okay.
You now have this nifty scroll, and you've gathered that there's one spell that you do know, and you probably will want to transcribe, or you may or may not want. It'll be up to you to decide if you want the Phantasmal Force. So if you've had a chance to look at that in the player's handbook, does that sound like something that Min would be interested in using?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So we will say that Min takes the time necessary to copy the spells into your spell book.
Well, just the one spell.
Yeah, just that one spell.
And then the others I put back in the tube and hide it.
Okay. All right. So you hide that somewhere. All right. And then where did you want to go? I thought there was some place you wanted to kind of go in town while you were here.
It wasn't me. I was gonna bring them back a treat.
Okay.
Get some cleaning supplies like brooms and.
That's not what I was thinking of. What I was thinking of is more about your question about what you wanted to do with your character and.
Oh yeah. Okay. So I guess I'm gonna go to some of the shops and go exploring.
Okay.
Just because I wanted to, I wanted to see what's new, if anything, which I doubt, because, hey, it's a small town.
Okay. All right. And then I don't know if you didn't see my answer, go back and double check what I responded with your question.
Yeah, I did see your answer.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
And I said I was cool with that.
All right. So you go perusing through the shops, and there's not a whole lot that really catches your fancy because, like you say, nothing much has changed. But as you're wandering through the town, and we will go ahead and go back to our map of the town for this.
What time of year is it, by the way?
I think we said it's like fall.
Okay.
Something like fall. So as you are wandering through the town, your footsteps start leading you over more towards the tower.
Okay.
The tower over here where that Rufus and Burne are building. And you go up the stairs there, and you notice that the two guards that are supposed to be watching the door, they are they're kind of preoccupied playing a game of dice, and they don't see you. They don't see you coming.
Okay. So I'll kind of try sneaking up on them. And if I'm successful, then I'm going to kind of go, what you doing?
Oh, okay.
When they're in the middle of their game.
Okay, so go ahead and make a dexterity check for me if that's...
Sure.
Not exactly what I was expecting, but we'll go ahead and do that. Okay, you start trying to come up the stairs, and your tail brushes against something, and it clatters. It falls over and clatters, and they and you get about halfway up the stairs, and they see you.
I'm kind of like frozen with one foot kind of half raised. Sorry.
Oh, hello, it's you. How can we help you?
I was going to see what you were doing.
Oh, well, we're just on guard. Like Rufus and Burne have asked us to be on guard.
Well, if you were on guard, you would have seen me coming. Like 2 blocks away.
Well, there's we're supposed to be cleaning here as well. And the other one's like, yeah, we're cleaning. We're cleaning. So we kind of have our eyes on anybody approaching the tower, as well as tidying and cleaning things up. But once again, yes.
Okay.
Are you here to see Lord Rufus or his worshipful Burne today?
Sure. Either one of them is fine. Or I could just look around on my own, you know.
Oh, well, I don't think that they would like anybody just poking around on their own. I think I saw Lord Rufus go out to drill with the volunteers and the town militia. Let me see if Burne is here. And so one of them goes trotting inside, and then comes out a few moments later and says, yes, Burne is in his study. He will see you if you want to follow me. And so he will take you down the stairs and into the study. Okay. And as you go in there, you will find Burne with his he's got a big piles of books all over the place, and he's got shelves that have all kinds of different knickknacks and everything on it. There are large jars. Some of them are earthenware or clay jars that have lids on them. Some of them are glass jars. And in the glass jars, you can see there are either dried or, in some cases, liquid contents. And most of the liquids seem to have things floating in them. And some of the dried ones, there's like bits of stuff that are poking out underneath the lid. like strands of whatever might be in there. Some of that stuff smells pretty foul. Some of it has a rather pleasant aromatic smell, but it kind of all jumbles together and makes for a very odd mixture of odors as you come in.
Ugh.
And
Rin wrinkles up her nose and goes, some of us have more sensitive noses than others, and that's kind of disgusting.
Oh, well, as you will find as you delve deeper into the practice of the mystical arts, you will find that there are lots of things that aren't necessarily the most pleasant smelling, but they are necessary. Like this jar here, and he pulls down one of the earthenware jars, and he says, Now, do you like the smell of ammonia and decaying?
No,
partially
I don't like
digested,
the smell of my own pee, thanks.
And the smell of partially digested food?
Oh. No. Why would I? That's disgusting.
Well, you see, because this jar here is full of bat guano.
That's very nice. Now,
And
what are you doing?
Bat guano is necessary when you cast the fireball spell. And so if you're going to study and learn more powerful magics and learn the fireball spell, you're going to have to be able to collect some bat guano, which means you get to go into all kinds of caves and pull it off the floors or scrape it off the walls or go up on the ceiling and scrape it off.
Am I supposed to take that with me to use as a component? How do I?
Yes. You every time.
They'd be able
every
to
time.
Smell me coming.
Well, not if you keep it in a leather pouch. And what I find that if you have some like aromatic incense that you put in the bottom of the pouch, and then you put the bat guano in with it, that sort of helps to make the stench a little bit less. And plus, after you have been using Fireball for 3 or 4 months and you've practiced with it, you're not going to smell the bat guano anyway. And neither will your companions that are traveling with you. You'll just kind of get used to it. But I'm sure you didn't come here to talk about bat guano. How can I help you today?
Oh, just thought I would stop by and say hi.
Oh.
See what you're doing.
Oh, well, I'm doing some research. I came across something in my adventures a while back, and periodically I've tried to figure out what it does, and I can't. And I was just looking to see, doing some research to see if in any of the tomes I have in my library, it talks about it. And he opens up a drawer in the desk that he's sitting at, and he pulls out a little leather pouch, and he puts it on the table, and he pushes it across the table towards you, and he says, "What do you make of that?"
She'll kind of like look at it as far as look at the bag, and then she kind of gingerly picks it up and opens it up and peeks inside.
As you pick it up, you notice it's a small leather pouch, and it's a little heavier than you might expect, and it has something hard and irregularly shaped inside. It's not quite roundish. It's more oval, and it's kind of a little bit flatter on top, and so it's kind of like somebody took an egg, and without breaking the egg, they managed to squish it a little bit. So imagine something that's kind of oval like an egg, a little flatter on the top and the bottom, and sort of squeezed out or spread out on the sides. And that's what the pouch is wrapped around. You can tell that, and you can tell the weight of it by holding it in your hand. So now you want to undo the drawstrings and look inside?
Yep.
Okay. You undo the drawstrings and you look inside and you see it looks like a very strange gemstone. And it's strange because it seems to be polished, but it's polished in smooth curves and not cut into facets the way you would normally think of a gemstone. It's also got like a little band or ribbon of gold that seems to go around the widest point of this thing. And as you open it up, he says, "Go ahead, take it out, have a look at it."
So she upends the bag and lets it drop out into her hands so she can take a better look at it.
Okay. When it drops out into your hand, your first thought is maybe this is some kind of emerald because it looks a little bit green. But then you notice as you turn it, it's got, there's some sort of like fiery, the way it glints, catches the light inside the thing. And as you're turning it, and then you realize as you turn it that you see different images that just seem to flash there for a moment and then just go back to sort of shapeless patterns of the little fiery thing, and then you turn it a little bit more, and an image flashes in it, and it seems like if you try to catch an image, you never can. It's just there's like a brief image, and you notice several images, but one image seems to repeat several times, and that image is an image of a female humanoid face that appears to be looking at you out of this stone. Go ahead and describe what that female humanoid face would look like.
Very a little bit angular, a little bit longer nose, green eyes, and hair that is actually fairly long, looks a little scraggly, and has shades of, or little hints of gray, as if in, like an older woman would have little wisps of gray here and there in her hair.
Okay.
And then just eyes that seem to be a little mischievous.
Okay.
And slender stature, almost some people might say too skinny, but she seems to like a gymnast's physique.
Okay, and looking at some of the telltale features, the way the eyes are set, the ears and things like this, does this look like a human's face? Does it look like an elf, dwarf? What
looks the ears are slightly pointed, so maybe just a touch.
Maybe a little bit of elvish blood.
Yeah, looks like a little bit of elvish blood. That's
slightly pointed ears, but more rounded human eyes.
The features are just a little bit more That's where the features are a little more angular. The eyes kind of up at the corners a little touch, just because that's just the way it is.
Okay. Now, do you describe what you're seeing to Burne?
Yeah, I'm kind of like, wow, there's. And she continually keeps turning it this way and that way and this way and that way. And she gives a little pieces of description here and there and everywhere.
He says, well, that's very peculiar. I've never seen that before. And as you keep turning it, you notice something else. You notice that there seems to be very faint. As you see it, it becomes clearer and clearer to your eyes. But the first time you noticed it was so faint you almost missed it. There is like some kind of a strange rune that appears to be inscribed on one surface of this stone. And it doesn't look like a rune from Dwarvish script or Draconic or any of the other languages that men may have learned about in magic school. It's kind of a little bit different. And as you mentioned that to Burne, he's like, "Oh, really? I don't see that. Where is it? Can you point that out?"
She keeps pointing it out, and then she holds it up a little bit to the light. See, right there.
Okay, and as you say right there, you start to trace it with like one of your little claws. You start to trace over this rune, and as you do, to your eyes, two things happen. First of all, as you start tracing it, you realize that the fiery glitter inside is beginning to glow more brightly. And then you realize with a tiny bit of panic that, even if you wanted to stop tracing this, you're not able to. It's almost like this stone is dragging your claw across the rest of the pattern of this rune. And
she starts to she's like,
And he's like, "What are you doing? What are you doing? What's going on?"
"No, my finger, it's just pull my hand away quick."
And he reaches out, he looks at you confused, and he reaches out towards you, but not before your finger finishes tracing that. And there is a brilliant flash of light, and you hear the sound of like a piece of glass splitting. And Min sort of convulses, and she is knocked out of her chair, and she finds herself laying on the floor. And you don't know whether you blacked out, Min, or not, but you reach up to touch your face, and you feel bare skin instead of, and you don't feel any whiskers.
And then she looks at her. She starts flexing her fingers in front of her face,
and they are the fingers of a half elf or a human.
Slapping her face, like look at her arms going, and then she screeches.
And you realize there's a shadow looming over you, and you look up, and Burne is standing there, and he's wide-eyed, and he's looking down, and he looks at you.
"Where's my fur? What happened to my fur?"
And then he looks kind of a little bit away from you, and a finger points out at the ground, and he says, "What have you done?" And you look look at where he is pointing, and this stone is now split into two pieces, and the clear green is all gone, gray and smoky, and it's shattered, and that band of what might have been gold now just seems kind of almost like rusted. And clearly, whatever that item was, it has been destroyed.
And he looks at what he's pointing at, and she's like, "I didn't do it. I swear I didn't. I didn't mean to.
Get out! Get out! Get out! Just out! Out!
She tries to scramble up off of her feet or onto her feet, and without her whiskers to offer her that sensory balance, she kind of like starts stumbling into things.
Yeah, and you realize as you scramble to your feet, you realize momentarily you're kind of, you're on all fours, and that there's part of that feels like that's kind of the way it ought to be, but then you realize you're all kind of not balanced for that anymore, and you don't have a tail for leverage like that. You're kind of wearing a dress that's more or less the same color as what your fur was, and it's kind of a long, loose-fitting gown that goes down, not quite ankle length, but about halfway down your calves, and has sort of a loose belt around the waist that kind of holds it in, and then just has space for your head to fit through on the neck, and holes for your arms. Okay. But I'm
fucking cold.
Do you realize you're now okay? Now it seems like you're supposed to walk on two legs all the time, and you scramble to the stairs, and you stumble up the stairs, and the guards that were there, they're kind of looking down because they've heard Burne yelling, and they see you come up, and they go, "Oh, where did you come from? Where did you come from?" And
out of my way, I want to go home.
And Burne just says, let her go, and get out, and don't come back until you can explain what you've done. His voice follows you as you get to the top of the stairs, and you stumble down, and okay, now, Min, you don't quite know what happened, but apparently, Min, now you're a half elf.
And she basically takes off trying to get her bearings and run, because she is utterly terrified. She feels absolutely naked, even though she's wearing clothing. She's cold, and she is just completely hyperventilating at this point in time, till she can find some place to hide for a little bit.
Yeah, without kind of any clear sense of direction, your feet are just sort of taking you back towards the inn of the Welcome Wench, and we will check back in with you a little bit later and see where you wind up going and where you end up. Meanwhile, back at the inn. Okay, let us take a look now at Nico. So, Nico, you're back in town after a successful foray to the back to the dungeon. You've cleaned everything out, or at least as much as you can. What would Nico like to do?
Nico, the first thing that he did when he got back to the inn was go take a bath and then get a meal and do some praying and then relax and expect the summons from the town council or for them to come to the inn because they tend to seem to drink when they make decisions, which is a good wisdom trait that all dwarven leaders should have.
Yes. Okay. So you are partaking of a meal after you have gotten cleaned up. Talon, what are you doing? Casca, are you still with us? Okay, I see Casca in the Discord, but maybe he had to step away for something. All right, we will move on to Quint. Quint, what are you doing?
Well, we spent, I'm not a dwarf, and we spent a fair amount of time underground in the Moat House. I think Quint wants to just kind of wander around town, enjoy the fresh air, be outside in nature. He'll want to maybe try and build some goodwill with the people of Hommlet here, and he, if he sees anybody maybe shooting some arrows, he'll try and offer some help with archery practice, or he's got that kind of animal empathy thing going on. So if there's anybody having trouble with some of their livestock or animals, he'll maybe just see some kind of way to assist them and how maybe best he can help them out.
Okay, so
kind of a goodwill ambassador and see what he can do.
Yeah, you as you head out from the Inn of the Welcome Wench over here, you will begin wandering around, and it's not too long before you get up here to about this field over here, and as you do, you hear a voice calling out instructions like left, right, left, right, left, right. And you look over and you see Rufus, who is standing under a bit of a tent over there. And there's about 15 people that look like farmers that all have similar colored coats on, and they're sort of in three more or less ranks, kind of uneven ranks, and they're trying to walk in step as Rufus is calling out the steps to them. And they're not seeming to have a very good time of it there. And then you see kind of off over beyond them, there's some targets have been set up for archery.
Okay.
And you can tell by Rufus's voice that his patience with these people trying to march in step is wearing a bit thin. And so after a moment, he will call a halt and he will say, "Oh, well, you lot march about as well as a day-old kitten. We're going to have to keep drilling on that. But now, why don't you all show me what you can do with your bows and arrows? I see that all of you brought your bows. I'm sure you use those for hunting. We're going to have you 5 at a time go over and start trying to shoot at the targets, and we will start from 10 paces. And so the farmers, they tend to look a little bit relieved that they're not having to march around anymore. And so they begin to move over towards the area where those targets are set up. So what would Quint like to do?
Quint will watch him for a little bit, kind and see how well they do, or probably don't do so well. And then he'll walk over to Rufus and offer offer greetings.
And he will look back at you, and he will say, "Oh, hey, hello, Quint. How are you doing?"
Faring well, thank you. I notice you're working with these men here and trying to make some soldiers out of them.
Yes. The Hommlet here, it has gone a bit soft. Everyone is a farmer, and they've sort of forgotten that they need to have a standing militia. Everyone whose grandfather has a sword in the attic, they have told them that they are part of the militia, but there's very little discipline.
Sure.
But let's see what they can do. Now, they do obviously have to hunt for their dinner, and let's see how well they do with this. And you see the first 5 of them are taking their space, and as you look, they all have pretty good form on pulling the bows back, and they seem to sight it. Okay, well, obviously they're familiar with these weapons.
Sure.
And
they've used them before, how effectively, maybe not so well.
Yeah. But. And out of the 5, actually 3 of them hit the targets. And these targets are like pieces of cloth that have concentric circles painted on them. And one of them, actually 2 of them hit just outside the center circle. So there's like 4 concentric circles. So one of them hits just outside the smallest circle, and then another one hits just inside the edge of the outer circle, and then one of them hits the this piece of cloth, but outside the largest circle, and another one sails over the top of the target entirely,
okay.
And hits a little berm beyond the bales of hay over there. So it doesn't go wildly off somewhere and
right.
hit somebody, but it's just a little bit high on that shot.
Yeah. I'll say not too bad. There's a couple folks there that should be able to hunt for their meals and wouldn't go.
And they go, yes, okay, good. And so then he looks at you. He says, "You're familiar with the bow? Are you handy with that?"
Oh yeah, I've used it a few times. Most people practice until they get it right, and I practice until I don't get it wrong.
And he says, good man. Well, do you have a little bit of time this afternoon? Maybe you can work with some of these folk that need a little bit of extra training?
Oh, I'd be glad to.
Okay, and so he calls a couple of them over, the ones that missed, and then he tells, okay, next 5 go up, and they start to do that, and you start to pull these people aside, and then you notice some commotion out on the road behind you, and as you look out, there is a woman, maybe a half-elf woman, and you don't think you've seen her before, but there's something vaguely familiar about the dress she's wearing. It sparks something, but you're not quite sure why. And she appears to be sort of stumbling, running in the direction of the inn, coming from the direction of, where that tower is.
Okay.
And Rufus looks at you and looks at that and says, "What the devil's gotten into her? Probably had too much to drink." And then he, turns his attention back over to the guys that he's drilling. And so you can spend some time with them this afternoon, working on that.
All right.
All right. Anything other than that Quint would be doing, or is he content just to spend a little bit of time?
I think that'd be a good way to spend the rest of the day.
Okay. All right. So that is Quint out of the inn. Let's go back and double check. Casca, are you back with us?
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay. All right. We're kind of going around figuring out what everybody would be doing, and Min, of course, is out of the inn. So, while
it's like noon or 1 o'clock, something like that.
Yeah, it's a little bit after that because you guys spent some time. It's probably mid-afternoon. You guys spent some time exploring those tunnels and then made your way back and whatnot.
Is the sun shining good?
Oh yeah, the sun is shining. It's probably at least an hour before sunset.
Okay, well, Talon's just going to go outside, find a nice sunny spot, and he's going to do some meditation and use one of his abilities.
Okay. All right. Okay. His turn. Okay, heals a point of damage. Intends an hour. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's see. So you have you roll a 10 against your score of 17. All right. So that is a success. So you go out and there's a nice little place on the lawn. You notice that these people here, they tend to like to put most of the furniture in areas where it's going to be in shade. But there are a couple of the little chairs and benches that are set up so that they will get shade in the morning, but now in the afternoon with the sun at the other angle, they are in some nice sun. So you go over and you lay down on that, and you spend 10 minutes, because a turn is 10 minutes in this game. Mm-hmm. So you spend we'll say you spend close to an hour completely uninterrupted, just hearing the sound of the birds and a little bit of breeze in the trees, and eyes are a little bit closed and you're just kind of meditating there. And then suddenly you hear some big folk is approaching, and this big folk is sounds like they're in some kind of trouble because they panting, either like they're exhausted or they're feeling a little bit panicky, and heavy footfalls, like they're kind of running a bit uncertainly, like maybe who knows, they might have had a little bit too much to drink or something like that. And they're coming up, and they're coming closer and closer to the inn. What would Talon do as he notices this?
Well, he's going to open one of his eyes and look over and see what's going on.
Okay, he looks over and you see a probably half-elf female. You can't quite tell. I mean, in the way that half-elves are, you can't quite tell whether she's older or younger. But she's running kind of awkwardly towards the inn, and you don't recognize her. You haven't seen her around before, but there's something vaguely familiar about the dress she's wearing. either the style of that dress or the color. There's something about it sort of tugs at there's something a little bit familiar, but you can't quite place why it's familiar. And she just is like running, kind of windmilling her arms a little bit, like she's not sure how the arms are supposed to really work when you run, which again gives that sense that maybe she's maybe had a little bit too much of a tipple before she went out. But she's running like something's chasing her. As you look down the road and there's nothing coming after her, and she's not screaming, but she just has this like haggard and a little bit panicked look in her eyes.
I'm gonna call out and say, "Ma'am, is there a problem?"
Oh, hey, Min. There's Casca over there, and he's looking at you and asking if there's a problem, but he doesn't seem to recognize you. He says, "Ma'am, is there a problem?"
And she will basically, like, she'd been running in his general direction, and as he calls out to her, she tries to stop and literally face plants into the ground.
Okay, this half elf falls over in front of you.
And there's kind of this, and then she's like trying to scramble up. She's like, Talon, it's me, it's Min.
No, you're not hairy enough to be men. You can't be men.
Funny. I'm naked.
Yeah, no, you have a gown on, ma'am, but you know.
But my
alcohol is the demon's drink. You know that, right?
She's like trying to fumble with you, and she's like, my claws, my whiskers, my tail, they're all gone.
Okay, ma'am, you need to calm down.
But you don't understand.
I understand. Somehow you met my friend Min, and now you all are trying to play a joke on me.
I'm Min.
Yes.
I'm Min. Me.
Yes, of course you are. Sure. I think we need to get you some help.
Well, yeah, some help if you can change me back.
Change you back into what?
Into what I was, with the whiskers and the gray fur and the
when she says gray fur, it clicks. That's what the dress reminds you of. The dress is exactly the same shade and pattern of coloration that Min's fur was. It's uncanny how much that dress resembles her fur.
And then over the top of it, she's got the vest she normally wears, and it's probably she's got pants. She had pants on, but they're
okay.
Well,
so
no, I mean it's the dress is probably still there as far as representing her fur, but it's now kind of bunched up all over the place.
Well, you also had boots.
Oh yeah, and that's probably part of why she's still struggling.
Yeah. Okay, so.
And she just got this wild look in her green eyes, and she's just like, I want my fur back. I'm cold.
Where's Min? And you need to give her back her stuff.
I was over at the tower, and the one, and she's kind of like, I can't remember his name. And I went to his study, and he asked me if I knew what this thing was, or if I recognized something, and it was this really pretty jewel, and I was looking at it, and then it had this rune thing on it, and I kept seeing this woman in it, and I took my claw, and it was tracing the rune, and then suddenly I couldn't stop, and when it finally came to, and she's just like, a mile a minute. I heard the breaking sound, and I found myself on the floor, and this thing was broken in half, and then I looked like this, and he was so angry.
Ma'am. Okay, so Min is at the tower. Is that what you're telling me? Let's go to the tower and see the old wizard. Well, I want to talk to him. Come on.
Oh. She's just kind of like, no.
I'm going to take her by the hand and lead her back to the tower because I think maybe she's like some demented relative of theirs.
Okay. All right. Okay. So as Talon is getting ready to do that, let's check in with our last two folks. Or I guess our last three folks. Or no, we just have two folks left. Archimedes, what are you doing after you guys return to the village?
I'll be in the tavern where we reside for the days and playing some music for the folk.
Okay, all right. Playing some familiar tunes, or are you kind of trying to compose something new to talk about the adventures you've been having?
The adventures that we've been having of how we cleared the moat and single-handedly down Lareth. And
okay. Let me open up your... and just take a look and see. Oh yeah. Go ahead and make me a musical instrument check as you're sort of working on composing and singing a new song here. Oh wow, okay. Yeah. You're quickly starting to find like the right chord progressions that you want, and the melody is coming together, and from time to time you get little fragments of playing with the words and how do we want to talk about this part? Oh yeah, that's a good line, and there are some people that are sitting nearby and they're like fascinated watching you they realize you're composing something new sort of on the fly, and they're just kind of sitting there in awe watching you do that. And every now and then they will take a few a few coppers or a couple of silvers, and they'll toss them into the case of your instrument as it's sitting there on the table while you're playing. So that is what Archimedes is up to, blissfully ignorant of all the drama happening outside. And Garm, what is Garm up to when you guys return to the village?
I'm gonna get a bath and then something to eat. And then I'll go to my room.
Okay. All right. Just grab some food and whatnot. Okay. And then all right. So Garm is upstairs for the rest of the afternoon. All right. And then let me go and take a quick peek. I think somebody may have sent me. Oh, okay. Somebody did send me something. I'm gonna go ahead and save that, and that will be in here, and it will be here, and it will be here, and it will be here, and here, and this is doing this. All right, so while I am working on this, Talon, you were taking Min back to the tower, so let me go ahead and bring us back to the map of the village. You guys are headed over towards the tower. Over here. And as you approach, you see there's the two guards, and now the two guards are very much on alert. They're looking, and they see you coming, and they say, "Oh, Talon, you should be aware. Master Burne does not want to see your friend."
That's not my friend. That's some crazy lunatic that came from here. Where's my friend? What happened to Min?
It's me. No, I don't want to go back in there. He was so mean to me.
And they say, "Well, your friend Min did in fact come to the tower, and she asked to speak to Burne, and he saw her in his study, and a few minutes later we heard him shouting, and he was saying, 'Get out, get out, get out.' And this woman ran past us and out and back towards the inn where you are staying, and Burne was telling us that something happened and your friend broke a irreplaceable magic item, and she turned into this."
I need to talk to him.
Just stay out here.
Well, your friend will have to. Your friend, it would probably be best if she goes back to the inn.
No, she's gonna sit here and keep you two entertained.
You pouts. And she's just like, "That's not funny. I can't believe that you don't believe it's me."
Well, quit. Yeah, I'm not convinced.
Didn't we just spend like hours crawling through the caves and stuff and the tunnels?
So you've been talking to Min?
I am Min. By the way, your butt is not that handsome coming up from behind, constantly following you.
Nobody was asking you to stare at my ass. But
well, it's kind of hard not to.
Seems to me you may have liked it if you were Min, but I'm not convinced. I'm going to go talk to the wizard. You know, they're evil creatures. They should all be stoned to death, but I'm going to go talk to them.
All right. So the one guard will come down to the base of the stairs, and or actually we'll ask Min from the top of the stairs, do you need some water, or can I bring you something to drink?
I say, well, she's really Min. She'd like a saucer of milk as I walk past.
Funny.
And a cup of milk, okay. And so one of them will call in, please bring up a cup of milk. And then the other one will take Talon and will go into the study to see Burne.
Burne, yeah.
Right.
Burne.
Yeah. So Burne is in his study, and he is just looking very, very annoyed. And sitting in front of him on his desk is a, okay, how do I do this? How do I do the color picker on this stupid thing? Dang it. Need a stupid color picker. Oh, okay. I can. It's not. It's all right. So he will come out, and he will, or he doesn't come out. They let you in, and he says, "Oh, Talon, I'm not in a very good mood right now. What do you need?"
Well, I'm not in a good mood either. I got this hysterical woman claiming she's Min. I don't know if it's some insanity you let escape from your tower or not, but where the hell is Min?
Half elf, right? Wearing a gray dress.
Yeah, that's her. And Min stuff.
Yes. It's the damnedest thing. And he holds up the two pieces of what clearly might have at one time been a very valuable gem, but now is cracked in half and is all smoky and ruined, basically. Probably the only thing it's good for is a couple of paperweights at this point. He says, "This was a priceless and irreplaceable magic item. I have been trying to find out what it does for several years. And I asked your friend, foolishly, I suppose it was my fault to begin with, but I asked her if she could make anything of it. And she picked it up and she began looking at it, and she started to say that she saw the face of a woman, some sort of a half-elf, reflected in it. I had never seen anything like that. And then she also said there was a rune, and I had never seen a rune. And when I asked her what it was, she began tracing the rune. And then suddenly the inner light began to glow, and there was a brilliant flash, and the gem shattered. And instead of the feline that walked in, there was this half-elf laying on the floor. Never seen anything like it, and I don't know what it is, and I'm very cross because I've lost a magic item. Now, who's going to replace that magic item?"
Let me get this straight. You, the wizened wizard, let a novice handle a magic item that's a cat. And what does curiosity do?
Well, in my experience, curiosity allows you to find answers to things.
It also kills the cat.
Well, the cat didn't die. The cat became a half-elf.
Well, in a sense it died because now it's a half-elf. It's no longer a cat.
And he sits back and he crosses one hand in front of him and rests an elbow in his palm, and he taps two fingers against his chin in thought. And he says, very interesting. Very interesting. Perhaps that was the purpose of this thing all along. Some sort of a gem of polymorph. But why hadn't I ever seen anything in it?
Well, maybe you just weren't susceptible to it?
Oh, of course, yes. It required one of a sufficiently weak mind that would not fall prey to its magics. Of course, with someone as brilliant as me, mind as sharply trained as I am, it couldn't even begin to try to charm me. Oh dear, have I cursed your friend?
Well, can you reverse it?
I don't even know for sure what it was, and with it ruined, I'm going to have to think of someone that I might be able to ask.
I mean, if it's a curse, don't you have some way of checking for that?
Well, let's see. Perhaps I could dispatch a letter to Tensor. I believe Tensor is recently been inducted to the Circle of Eight. He would know. Or perhaps him or Mordenkainen or one of the other wizards that's part of the Circle of Eight. They may know this. Well, yes, I'll just have to dispatch a letter to Greyhawk. Well, now, here, what I'm going to need you to do is I am going to need you to watch your friend and send me regular reports if there is any change in her condition. As long as she remains healthy, then we apparently have time to see what all this, if it is a curse, what this curse has, until I can find out more information. Now, if she starts to get sick, or her condition deteriorates, or she begins to change form into something else, you must let me know immediately, because we may have to take more drastic measures. But for now, let's just presume that this is some sort of a polymorph effect, that when it's a one-use item, that clearly, as you can, even an untrained simpleton such as you can see that this is a ruined magic item. He's
he's the one that lets her use it, but I'm the simpleton. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Because you're not a wizard. What could you possibly know? You don't know anything about these very important types of things. Preposterous. All right, so
are you sure you don't need a piece, some of her hair, or a vial of her blood, or I don't know what it is you all use.
Perhaps in a couple of days, if she is willing, you could have her clip a lock of her hair, or maybe some fingernail clippings, and put those in little vials and bring them by, and I might keep them in case we need that for once we find out from Tensor and the Circle of Eight what it is we're going to need to do. And before we, and he starts to, he just sort of dismisses you after that, unless there's anything else in particular.
No, I go back out and I grab Min. I say, let's go, and I take her back to the inn. And
now you believe me?
I'm still not 100% convinced, but for now, I'll treat you as men.
Oh,
but
I
do gotta say, it's nice that you're not leaving hair everywhere.
What?
You're not. It's nice that you're not leaving hair everywhere. All that fur, it gets on everything.
Okay.
And if she had lasers for eyes, you'd be dead.
And then just before we go for the evening, we are going to go back here, and we do not have a giant that walks into the inn. Instead, we do have a half-elf that walks in, and this half-elf is the new Min. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to open up Min's character sheet, and I'm going to edit the character sheet. And I will remove the current token. And then I will, I'm going to go in here. I'm going to say this stands for Adam. Put the nameplate. And use that. And we will save that. And then we will use a selected token. All right. Okay, so now we have a new version of Min. And before we end our stream this evening, for the benefit of the viewers, Heather, why don't you tell us a little bit about what the reason why you decided you wanted to change the appearance of Min?
Just part of it was I just was having difficulty getting into the character, so to speak. And originally the whole thought about having a character was to actually have her as a cat, and like a real cat, not a cat person, because then that way if my character, let me back up, that way if I wasn't able to make a Saturday night due to other obligations, you know, they could use the excuse, well, the cat just got up and wandered away, typical cat kind of thing. But, you know, as we were creating characters and stuff, that just wasn't really going to work. So we kind of came up with a half cat, half human, whatever. And finally, just after, 10, 11 sessions, just she wasn't allowing me, should I say, to truly get a sense of her character. So
Okay.
I think by taking and removing the cat part, we'll get her back to something more normal.
Okay.
I don't know if she ever be normal.
Yes, and that was something that a couple of sessions ago, or maybe it was before our last session, which was a few weeks ago, and we had those disruptions because of the soccer matches. Heather had said to me, I think I kind of just want to have Min be more or less a human and so we talked about, well, do you want her to be a shapeshifter or something like that? And she's like, no, I just want her to be more of a humanoid. And I was like, all right. And so I was starting to kick around some ideas. What could we do with that? And then she mentioned something to me again today in private chat in Discord, and I thought, okay, well, don't want to have this be something that drags out and takes a bunch of sessions to do. So how could we do this in a way that might explain it, but have it be something that is unexpected even to Min the character? And the thought was, well, maybe Rufus maybe Burne has picked up some kind of magic item that he's trying to figure out what it is, what it does, and somehow Min accidentally activates it, and it winds up changing her from the cat into a humanoid. And so that was sort of my contribution, and then I left it up to her what that humanoid was going to look like. And so
you had a surprise, and now the cat's out of the bag.
And into a dress.
The cat is out of the bag and into a dress. Exactly. So
cat's dead.
I mean, and who knows when you put such eminent minds as Tensor and Mordenkainen looking into things and investigating things, who knows what they might be able to come up with. But for now,
maybe she'll turn into a dragon next time.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. For now, Min is a half elf. So that was just a thing. I like the idea of when a player pitches a concept and they think it's going to work, and most of it does. Heather seemed happy with the wizard, happy with, most of the things about the character, but the whole race thing just wasn't working out the way she thought it was going to work out. And like she said, it was as much her not being able to find the way the character was working as just the logistics of being a cat wandering around with humans was a bit awkward.
Complaining about me shedding all the time. They all walked around with lint rollers in their bags.
And so, then as a DM, part of my job is to try to figure out, okay, when can we salvage the character and change it to be more like what the player wants, and when would we want to say, okay, because the other idea I pitched to her is like, okay, if you really think Min is not working out and you want to change, like, she's not a wizard, she's not that, you can always just say, well, when you get back to town, Min decides that the adventuring life is not for her and she leaves, and then a new character comes into town and that becomes the new character you play. So you could do it that way. But she said, no, I like the idea of staying, continuing to be Min, but just not being the cat anymore. And so I was like, all right, how do we fix that? So we may have to go and I'll have to dig up that information and see like if there's any minor adjustments to like ability scores or things like that, from half elf to what the cat race had and whatnot. And we'll talk about if there's any adjustments, but I doubt it's going to be anything major. It might be like 1 point here or there where maybe one score will go down a little bit and another one might go up a little bit, probably by 1 at the most in either direction. So we'll look and see about that and see if that affects anything. And then the other half of my answer to you is she also brought up something about her proficiencies. She had chosen some proficiencies that she thought she was going to use, and she's finding that, okay, now that she realizes that a lot of this adventure is going to be you guys crawling around in dungeons, some of the things that she picked just really aren't going to be that much useful, and they're just going to be sitting there taking up space. So there's a mechanic from 4th edition that I really like, and it's one of the few things out of 4E that I do like. I like skills challenges, and I like this mechanic, which says that every time you go to a new level, you can trade out 1 skill or 1 feat or 1 feature that you had taken a skill or feat that comes into play at the same level. So like if back at 4th level, if you're an 8th level character, back at 4th level, you picked something and you've never used that skill at all. And you realize that there's something else that really would be useful. Then when you get to 9th level, you can swap out that 1 skill for the more useful skill. As long as it was something that you would have gotten at 4th level as well. So we can gradually change out Min's proficiencies 1 per level to get a better mix of something. So be thinking of the one that you think is the least useful and something that would be more useful, and get that on deck, because then the next time you get enough XP to raise a level, we'll go ahead and let you swap out that proficiency. And then, like I said, every time we get to a new level, we will swap one of those that you think is not as useful until we get the ones that you want. So it might be a good idea to think of those in rank choice order. Here's the one I want to swap first. Here's the one I want to swap second. Here's the one I want to swap third. And these are the ones that I want to replace them with. So that when you come to level, you don't have to think about it anymore. You just look at your notes in your character sheet and say, yep, this level I'm doing this. This level I'm doing that. This level I'm doing that. And that goes for everybody else. If you decided that, if you picked initially some proficiencies that you thought were going to be useful and you find that they're not working the way you wanted to, start making a list of those and which ones you would swap them out for. And then when we get to the next level, go ahead and let me know. But the reason I like doing it this way is this just keeps the idea of like wholesale changing out all of your proficiencies at one time, because basically that means, I can just willy-nilly change my character anytime that I want to turn it into something completely different. It's like, no, you can do it one step at a time, but you gotta put some thought into it and you've got to be deliberate about it. So
all I know is we've become very elf-centric in this party.
Because it's what the cool kids are doing.
Whatever.
Still on the count of one.
Well, no. Quint, aren't you a half-elf?
Yep.
And Archimedes? Is Garm human?
Archimedes
I think Garm is human, yeah.
Okay. So we got 3 half-elves, so it's like 1.5, I guess, but it's still...
All right. Now, last time we played, somebody mentioned there was something coming up a little bit later in the year. I can't remember who that was. That
was me.
They wanted to... Okay. Casca. What is coming up a little bit later that you want to tease and have people start thinking about?
EUCon. It's an online con for role playing. We've got they're doing one shots on Roll20. They're doing some play by post on Discord. They're going to do some kind of forums. I think that's going to be within Discord. I'm not sure. And you can sign up on Warhorn. Remember that.
Put it in the general chat in Discord, because if you do that, then I can copy and paste it into Twitch for people that, and then also the rest of the players can see the link there if they want to sign up for it as well. Okay, all right, great. So I will go over here and get this, and I'll put it in the Twitch for everybody as well.
Also, if anybody's interested in being a game master, it's, you just contact the organizer and he may be up for it.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Yep. And do you know when? Do you recall when that
is? November 12th through the 14th. It's a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Gaming will run from noon to midnight each day.
Okay. All right. Yeah, my Sunday group would love me if I signed up for that, because as it turns out, you guys had to suffer through 2 Saturdays in a row because they're soccer matches. As it turns out, on the 24th of October, which is a Sunday, and the 31st of October, which is a Sunday, and the 7th of November, which is a Sunday, and the last game of the season, I will be at soccer games all 3 of those days. So my Sunday group will be missing 3 weeks in a row instead of just 2 weeks in a row. So, most of them will find out about that tomorrow. So that will be a thing. I'm we are kind of getting close to a point where there's a nice little end of one story arc and the beginning of another story arc. So I'm going to try to see if I can't set it up so that we finish our story arc before that break, and then we start up the new story arc after that break, because and that'll be a good way of forcing the players to get all the crap done that they want to get done in a timely manner, so that we can end our current arc and move on to the next one on a schedule, which we normally don't do, because I normally like to let the players take as much time to do stuff as they want to do and not, push people on before they're ready.
Well, then if you're at the end of a story arc, they could be in contact. If they're wanting to buy stuff, you could deal with that over Discord through the 3 weeks.
Yeah. There's a few things that we could do like that. All right, and as for this channel, coming up tomorrow, we will be having a session of the Planeswalking game Walker of Waterdeep. So that will be coming up tomorrow afternoon at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Monday, we will be having a... Monday, we will be having Monster Monday, but I still have not yet quite decided what I'm doing for Monster Monday, so I will have to work on that either tonight or tomorrow and get that decided. So hopefully by the time we finish the session tomorrow, I'll be able to tell people what's coming up. Thursday night next week, I believe we are having our game as usual on Thursday night, Sword Coast Chronicles. And unfortunately, guys, next Saturday, the 4th of September, we are hosting another soccer match at the stadium. So we will not be playing on the 4th. We also have a conflict on the 25th of September. And then again, we have a conflict on the 2nd of October and the 16th of October. But the good news is after the 16th of October, there's no more Saturday games, at least on the men's side. And the women's season, I think, is already over by the 16th. So that should be the end of the disruptions for the season. We got kind of lucky this year and didn't have a whole lot of disruptions early. They decided, okay, we're gonna screw with my schedule all right at the end of the year. So
no college football, no.
There is a college football team that I follow, and I do occasionally like to go to the games. But with the soccer stadium, the team is doing well, but the stadium is never packed to the gills. And so between tailgating and being able to kind of move around and get a little distance from other people in the stadium, I don't mind going to the soccer games. But the college football games this year, it's going to be, I was watching a couple of the games that were on today, and the stadiums are just all packed.
Yeah, they're making up from last year.
Yeah, I'm not.
I didn't get to go last year, so yeah.
Yeah, I'm not quite ready to go that until they figure out what they're doing with this, with the Delta variant and all that kind of stuff, and they figure out how to tamp down some of the infections. Because of course, here in Central Florida, we are in one of the hotbed areas, hot zones, for a number of different reasons. And when you go to college campuses, there are still, according to some of my friends who are professors at university level, there's approximately 40% of the college students in Florida have opted not to get vaccinated yet. And so it's like, okay, yeah, we're going to have 20,000 drunk college students in the stadium. No, thank you.
I don't understand why everybody hasn't embraced social distancing permanently. It's the best thing to happen.
Yeah, I don't know. But
my wife heard that and was like, hell yeah.
So, yeah, I am... I'm not going to be going to any college football games this year. I will be watching them on TV. And if I can watch them on TV, I can record them on the DVR and watch them on my schedule, so I don't have to disrupt a game for something that's going to be on the DVR anyway. So I'll watch the game and then just avoid looking at any websites before I go and watch the game on DVR, so I can be surprised by the outcome. All right, everybody. Thank you guys for coming, and sorry again about the disruption for next week, but we will see you back here in 2 weeks for another session of Greyhawk Saturday Nights. A fun session tonight. Thank you, Heather, for giving us something that was nice, little entertaining for everybody in the session.
No problem.
And we will look forward to I think you guys might be meeting with the druid next time. And you might be learning something from him.
When's our Saturday game?
Next Saturday game is in 2 weeks.
Can you put the schedule in the...
Yeah, I put it up again. I put it up a few weeks ago. It's in the Discord somewhere. Mm-hmm. If you go back and look, let's see, September. Yeah, okay, so yeah, I think we're all right. Okay, well,